The menopause train is coming no matter what.
Every year, millions of women in the United States go through menopause. Once thought to be a taboo conversation, celebrities like Oprah, Naomi Watts, Drew Barrymore, Gwyneth Paltrow, and Viola Davis are speaking up in hopes to normalize this natural part of womanhood.
I can feel the hormonal shifts happening, the sweating, the moods. You know, you're just like all of a sudden furious for no reason.
Even former First Lady Michelle Obama opened up about hot flashes on her podcast.
I remember having one on Marine One. I'm dressed. I need to get out, walk into an event, and literally, it was like somebody put a furnace in my core.
A woman is considered in menopause when she goes 12 months without having a period, but the symptoms can be present for as long as a decade.
When I learned that it was a potential 10-year window, that really changed everything for me.
Now the conversation is even shifting to the workplace, where some companies are adopting support programs for women going through menopause.
What is menopause?
Menopause is hell.
It is.
All jokes aside, knowledge is power, and the more we speak up, the more we can help one another.
Our mothers didn't have these conversations with us because their mothers didn't.
Yeah.
And the cycle was just passed on, and the tide is changing.
Joining us alongside Maria is Dr. Beri Ridgeway, the Chief of Staff at the Cleveland Clinic. It's so great to have both of you here. Maria, it's interesting that this is the time that there's like a big spotlight that's being shown down on menopause. Why do you think that is, and why does this conversation need to happen now?
Well, I think it's exciting.
Yeah.
I think it's exciting, and we have to include perimenopause in the whole menopause umbrella. And I think because a lot of women are questioning their health, there's much more of a focus on women's health. And then there are women who are looking at this as a business. They're going in and saying, wow, there is nothing out there for me. Maybe this is a good business for me. So women are entrepreneurial. There are more women doctors who are opening up, talking about that. As I always say, that my kids say, you had a male gynecologist, you had a male, there weren't any women there to deliver you, you know? So I think more women entering the medical field, more women who are entrepreneurial, more women who are like, I don't like the way I feel, and I'm going to do something about it. I'm going to speak about it.
Yeah, Dr. Ridgeway, Maria and I had a really good conversation this morning about women's health in general. That, you know, when you're having babies, there's a lot of focus, and then obviously if there's something wrong, you tackle it. But what should we be doing in this midlife? Where should we be going? What type of doctor should we be going to? What kind of questions should we be asking?
Yeah, it's a great question, and midlife is a perfect time to reset and say, how do I want to age? Do I want to age into health? Or do I want to age into illness?
That's good.
And when deciding to age into health, one of the first things is to partner with a primary care physician. This is someone who will, again, be a partner with you to talk about how you want to live, what chronic conditions, how you can decrease risks, and to know you personally, so when there is something right or wrong, that they can work with you to feel your best and age into health.
I think a lot of people, when they don't feel well, they look for a drug or something to help them feel better. And that's the way, it's like tackle the problem. But Maria, you're talking about kind of big picture and looking at overall health, like preventing it. And holistically.
Exactly. I mean, I think that if people are living longer, right? So I think people focusing, as Dr. Ridgeway said, in their 40s, who do I want to be at 65? Who do I want to be at 80? Do I want to have balance? Do I want to prevent as many illnesses as I can? Do I want to know what I'm susceptible to? Do I want to know what happened with my mother? What's in my family? So I think these are questions, and hopefully now, as we begin to shed light on women at mid-age, on osteoporosis, if we talk about perimenopause, so when women hear, oh, I didn't know that depression and anxiety is associated with menopause, maybe I don't have to go on an SSRI, or maybe I go on an SSRI or hormones. And there's been a whole shift, I would say, huge shift in terms of when we talk about hormones and menopause and perimenopause out of the Women's Health Initiative. So my generation was told, don't touch a hormone. Now women who are coming into perimenopause and menopause are spoken about a window that you can and should take hormones if they're good for you, right? And they're spoken about all of these other aspects of their health. So I think this is an exciting moment in women's health, exciting moment to be entering perimenopause. And doctors like Dr. Ridgeway are saying at big hospital systems like the Cleveland Clinic, hey, we need to focus on women, particularly women in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond.
Yeah. Dr. Ridgeway, what are some symptoms that we can look for in both premenopause, although I didn't say that right, perimenopause,
and the transition to menopause?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So one of the hallmarks is irregular periods, irregular bleeding, as you start to spread out or skip periods. Then the next most common are these hot flashes, hot flushes, vasomotor symptoms. This is where we saw in the video that just furnace almost that you feel. And this happens in about 80% of women. So it's extremely common. Beyond that, we look at sleep disturbances, night sweats, mood changes, including depression.
Do you need to get a diagnosis for this? Like, are you diagnosed with menopause, or if you have those symptoms, is that just the way it is?
If you're between 45 and 55 and you have those classic hallmark symptoms, you don't need a formal diagnosis. You don't need a blood test to confirm that. And in fact, in that transition time, those blood tests can be misleading. Now, if you're under 45 and especially under 40, I would definitely want to confirm that, because it's a little bit of a different risk profile in that group of people. But if there are irregular symptoms that can happen in menopause, say heart palpitations or other things, this is, again, partnering with your doctor, because we don't want to rely just on you're 50 and you are likely in perimenopause or postmenopausal. We want to say, what's wrong with you? Let's rule those things out before we go on and treat just for menopause.
And Maria, just to end, are we doing enough for women's health in this country?
No, we're not researching women's health spans enough. We're not funding research into how women age enough. We don't understand why women are 2/3 of those who get Alzheimer's, the majority of those who get MS, the majority of those with autoimmune. We don't know, and we need a federal commitment. We need hospitals to commit. We need doctors to research and study. Most doctors who are my age will say, I had an hour on menopause. I didn't even study Alzheimer's. So you're meeting them in the office, and they'll be like, you know, I want to do my best, but we weren't taught about this. So my hope is that when you get to the doctor's office at my age, you're met with very different answers. And I know you will be, because we're going to get more federal funding and focus on women's health, as I said, particularly at midlife. Women deserve to be seen. They deserve to be heard. They deserve to be cared for, and millions don't feel that way.
Well, I know we will be, because you're...
I know, I was going to say, can't stop you.
All
right.
We definitely will be.
Thank you. Thank you, Doctor. Thanks, Maria.